Let's take a look at GE Vernova, missing fourth quarter revenue expectations, but still reaffirming their 2025 outlook, citing a strong finish to 2024. We want to bring in Chris Dendrinos. He is RBC Capital Markets Analyst. And Chris, you see strong indications of some upside here. Why?
Yeah, thanks. I guess you could go back to the overall Trump narrative and the positive demand backdrop. He signed a number of executive orders on Monday, and you saw the Stargate announcement. That's right in GEV's wheelhouse. They are a leader in gas turbine manufacturing for power production, and then they have an electrification portfolio. And all that kind of lends itself to an opportunity to continue to support the electric grid. And so, from my perspective, the commentary on the call this morning was very, very bullish. They called out positive dynamics in demand, positive dynamics in pricing, positive dynamics in productivity. And so, there's nothing really to at this moment, at least, really poke holes into that would suggest that the trend is not going to continue up and to the right.
The one thing that I found a hole in, and I'm excited to get your context on this, Chris, is those tumbling wind orders as potentially part of the problem for GE Vernova. And I wondered if you think the focus on liquefied natural gas and oil under the incoming administration, the current administration, I should say, is that going to present an even bigger problem for GE Vernova, or is any shift in focus to other forms of energy just an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I guess honestly, it's a bit of both because they've got a very diversified portfolio of gas, nuke, and then wind. And so if there's wind weakness, the grid needs energy, and so maybe that's more of an opportunity for gas power, which actually carries higher margins for them. And now, to your comments on the wind portfolio. It's an offshore wind portfolio that continues to have losses, but there's an end in sight. And then onshore, it's a smaller piece of the business that has lower margins. And so, some of the announcements or the executive orders from President Trump, at the margins could impact that onshore wind portfolio. But I think the key message there is that only 5% of total wind production in the U.S. occurs on federal lands where he's instituted a ban, and so it's a very small portion of the overall demand picture. And then, for GEV, they've got other parts of the portfolio that pick up and supplement that. So, overall, yes, some weakness in wind, but it's one of those segments of the business that expectations are extremely low, whereas everywhere else in the portfolio where they continue to outperform, those expectations are really high. So they're clearing the high bar and maybe falling short of the low bar, but the low bar is not that relevant.
Chris, one of the areas of that outperformance, a lot of that related to the AI boom. You have nat gas turbines more than double their orders, more than doubling to 20 gigawatts last year. They're saying they said on the earnings call that they expect 2025 to be even stronger. I'm curious what you're modeling out, just how big of a boom you're expected to see over the next 12 months.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the biggest head scratcher for me, is just how much are they able to push pricing. And I think the narrative from them continues to be extremely bullish. And so they last year they announced an increase of capacity for their gas turbines. It was a 35% increase, and they've been pretty adamant so far, and commentary on the earnings call as well, that it's not going to go much higher than that. But they're fielding a lot of phone calls, and so. What do you do? Well, that's an opportunity for them to take pricing further. And so, for us, we're continuing to scratch this one and try to figure out just how much the opportunity is. But, I think the expectations amongst the investor group is, our 2025 numbers are already at the high end of the company's guide. I think, call it buy side expectations are above the high end of company guide. And I think there's, no signs right now, at least, that suggest that couldn't actually that won't occur. And the commentary from the company definitely supports that.